Hello, hello, hello.
Okay. All right.
Hello.
Okay, bye.
First one here.
Yeah, I was like, okay, no one's here. It's
Yeah, it's
so
one of those.
called Alan. I was like, are you
Yeah,
in the meeting?
on the
He's
road
like,
then.
"No."
But
You're
yeah,
around the
automatically wants to update the app whilst I'm on my phone.
Oh, I hate that.
Oh,
Like, you have to update the app now. And it's like, really? I was just signed in 10 minutes ago.
exactly. And then it wants to send you a code, and then it's just. I mean, it's great for the security, but it's also a nightmare when you're trying to get it done at that particular time. So how are you guys doing? Have you got a boot camp coming up? I saw a post it somewhere.
We do. We have two of them this year.
Oh wow, that's good.
Yeah, very aggressive of us. So in July, we have one in Fargo, North Dakota.
Yeah.
That's actually 9 days. So they could potentially do 9 or more shows by the time that they're out of boot camp. And then in August, we have a 5 performance days. Nice. So 9 performance days, 5 performance days, and there's pre-training, but yeah, in Washington State.
Cool. I know me and Jim do like the Hypno News thing, which is kind of just going about stuff that's going on. It'd be great to get either you or Alan on kind of talking about the boot camp as well on that, with a link to it. We can help push and promote it then, definitely.
Sounds fabulous.
Yeah. So I always think it's always been one. If one day I'll get a chance to jump on it myself, I just think it's such a great idea to actually have people on the road doing it rather than in the classroom doing it, which is, I mean, it's preaching to the choir, but
it's a whole other ball game between hypnotizing your fellow students that have been hypnotized 100 times and hypnotizing Joe Public that has never heard of it.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's those challenges and stuff that happens that just makes it a little bit, a little bit crazy.
And it's so much better though to do it with someone there that knows what could potentially be going on. It's like I'm sure we all felt when we had our clinical practice that wouldn't it be nice to have someone in the room with me just in case I forgot that simple thing that I know how to do. So yeah, it's really a great opportunity. We do have a couple spots left. So
yeah, but it's exactly like that. Clinical hypnotherapists have to have, like in the UK, they've got that supervision. They've got to have so many hours where there is someone supervising them in what they're doing. Whereas stage guys don't have anything like that. We have a book, a DVD, and then we're off on the road. And that's it. To have someone like you and Alan, with that pedigree that is kind of going, yeah, that's a great routine, but have you tried doing it this way? What about if you did it this way? All of those things are what make the difference, that makes the difference further.
Yeah, and it's also interesting because like we go to England and the humor's different. So the last time we were there, we had someone sit through our show and do the same thing for us and say, hey, you said that, and that doesn't mean here what it means to you. Like it means this. And I was like, oh, well, we're not trying to say that.
The
certainly don't want
not as threatening.
Well,
the boogeyman is not as threatening.
Yeah, but you wouldn't tell someone to sit on their fanny in England. It would mean something totally different.
Yeah, that means something totally different. Yeah.
and not a lot of Americans are familiar with that. So we have fanny packs, and I can imagine somebody in England going, "Oh, what?"
Yeah. I think a fanny pack over here is called a bum bag. But yeah, cool. I mean, it is interesting as well to kind of have the different perspectives on the different types of humor as well, which again is quite unique. There's not many performers that work both sides of the. But I was talking to Barry Jones. He does some stuff in America as well as the US. So I think you've kind of got to be fluid in how you do it.
Yeah, Barry's hilarious. I used to see him a lot. He used to live down in San Diego, and It's like when he says wanka, you don't need to know what that means to know what that means.
Yeah, you can try in any language. It'd be interesting. I mean, I kind of like tonight's a little bit about marketing. I know Jim's in the middle of a course for he's just done the Pacific Northwest Conference, so I don't know if Jim's going to be joining us tonight.
Okay.
So I kind of thought tonight we'll talk a little bit about marketing side of stuff. So it's great to have you guys on, because if anyone knows how to market a show, it's you guys especially. But when you said then about changing the humor, do you think you need to change the promotion of the show or the marketing for the show for different sides of the Atlantic? So I know here in the UK, like for a while, I was a comedy stage hypnotist, but that kind of fell out of fashion in the promotion and the posters for booking, because I was starting to get people that didn't think it was a real hypnosis show. They thought it was a spoof or a comedy hypnosis show. So that was something I then dropped from my marketing and was a stage hypnotist or just a hypnotist for quite some time. But I've started to see the comedy hypnosis or comedy hypnotist growing more in America now. So I just wonder what your kind of thoughts were on that.
Americans aren't as astute.
Yeah. They want the comedy. Yeah. We actually, when we go to England, we don't market it because we're part of a festival. So I have no idea on the marketing for that side of the pond. Over here, it really is different regions have different belief systems as well. And I think that they are expecting comedy hypnosis is kind of known as what stage is. For them, a lot of times it's a synonym for stage hypnosis.
Yeah.
To most Americans, it means the same thing.
That's good. That's good. I mean, again, when it comes to promotion, like social media is massive for everyone at the moment. I think because of that, and because it's such a cheap, kind of low barrier to entry, there's loads of people on social media pushing stuff in groups for free, but there's not many people producing physical posters and sending those out, flyers, cards, that type of thing. So I think as we go forward with promotions and marketing, I think they're more important now than what they've ever been, to have those tangible things that you can drop on a booker's desk so they can see the quality of stuff that you're doing. I know I've had some great responses from that type of stuff, which again is old-fashioned, or perceived to be old-fashioned, but I think there's more value to it now than what there ever has been. What do you think?
Well, we actually do have posters. Giving them to the bookers, a lot of times they still just don't even put them up. So
yeah,
there's that. It's like, how do you physically go in there and say, okay, I sent you the posters, can you please put them up?
Colleges actually want us to have the poster online for them to be able to print
and we have that.
and do it themselves, so that they filter it how they choose to. County fairs want to just be supplied the artwork that they then incorporate into their posters, which usually are a collage of a lot of different acts. High schools, they're not doing posters because the kids are coming to the party whether they want to or not. And those are our three primary, well, let's see, corporate, occasionally they'll want a picture to put in the newsletter or to put into an email, but they're not doing posters for that.
Yeah. I mean, weird as it sounds, I don't send posters out. I send posters out to help them market the show, but like you said, a lot of times they're asking for an image that they can incorporate into their own posters. I like to send posters out as a way of marketing for shows as well. So, like, a venue that I'm working with, when I send them an updated poster, I know that poster is going to end up in a drawer, on a desk somewhere else, which stays there as like almost like a placeholder, or just to remind them of who I am. So whereas if it was an email, that gets lost, or they look for it when they need it. But that physical poster that they've got on the pile of stuff in the corner, when that person goes and someone else comes in, there's the chance that they might pick that up as well. So I do try and send like postcards, posters, anything tangible that I can get in their office, the better. I keep toying with the idea of doing a wall planner, I know for a lot of bookers to have that kind of annual wall planner with stuff that they can tick off. But
Yeah, I think a lot of people are using digital,
yeah,
calendar.
exactly.
So that's
Yeah.
going to go to waste. We use posters when we're doing a bar, and we don't do
Yeah.
many of them, and we use them when we do a fundraiser so that they
Yeah.
can possibly use it as a promotion. Those are pretty much the only time that I ever ship out a postcard or a poster. But
Yeah.
I could see what you're saying. Recently, I was talking to a ventriloquist, and he said that his only marketing is when he sends out these postcards. And he gets booked because he constantly he sends me 4 postcards a year, and I receive them, and I know who he is, so I don't bother saving them at all. But I've been the number of postcards I've printed is beyond, and I have not used them, but I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to do another. I've had 9 different postcards printed, and we mailed them out in October and November, right before COVID. And weekly postcard every single week. That mailing cost me, I think, $3,000 by the time I was done with the printing, the graphics, the postage, the labels. It was just really expensive. Now the graphics are already done, and that was probably half of it. And printing is fairly inexpensive. So it'll cost me half as much to do it again. But it was just insane. We didn't get any results from it. And COVID kind of killed that idea. Along with $7,000 worth of
potentials from it. We had great potential.
And that's what it is. It's weird because you can do some stuff but not really know where they get. You only kind of get to find, like when you say to people, "Oh, how did you hear about me?" You get to hear about how they found you last. So, "Oh yeah, I saw your website." But in reality, they might have seen you at a trade show. They might have seen something that you've sent them. They might have received an email, and all of those things have funneled them to your website. And then when you ask them, "Oh, how did you hear about the show?" "Oh, I saw your website." So I think we do have to have, to a point, we've got to have that social media marketing as well, because social media can really target down your demographic and who you want. But having the tangible assets that you can send out to the right people, there's no point sending out, like I send out all my agents and Morgan some stuff at Christmas because it's worth it for me, for them, because I know that they're going to send me so many thousands of pounds worth of bookings. It's worth me sending them a mug that cost me £5 and a pen. But it's good marketing because that mug stays on their desk. That stuff's there. If I'm just doing a scattergun, then Facebook ads is brilliant. But I find LinkedIn is great for targeting demographics of bookers, because you can book or you can target specific job roles within specific organizations. So I know here in the UK, I can then target the event managers that work for Asper's Casino Group, which I ended up doing all of their casinos on the back of that. And so for me, that was really interesting because the dollar cost, the spend per lead on LinkedIn is so much better than what it is on Facebook. Facebook, it is more of a scattergun approach, whereas being able to target the event booker, the event manager at particular holiday park groups, particular casinos and entertainment groups, that works really well. So we've got a couple of like Born Leisure, which is big, or was big in the UK. They're not now, they've just gone bust. So we've got a couple of big groups where we can target those specific job roles, and again, for the cost of that on LinkedIn, it is a negligible cost. But then follow that up
for advertising with LinkedIn.
You pay for the advert on LinkedIn, and that is the brilliant. The cost per click or the cost per lead on LinkedIn is really good. And like I say, you can target specific job roles within specific organizations.
Nice.
That was for me, that was a really good find, and that's enabled me to get to Barclays Bank before they had the problems that they had. That got me booked for Barclays Bank for corporate, just again through being able to get their corporate entertainment booker through LinkedIn. Two of my better agents who will should remain nameless because this goes public. Two of my better agents I got through booking through LinkedIn as well through that way. But that is a paid ad on LinkedIn targeted to those people. Whereas Facebook, you can't really target the specific job within a specific organization. On LinkedIn, you can. So yeah, and that was a good plan for me, is that. But yeah, and again, it is having lots of different things targeting for different people. So that works well for holiday parks and for hotel groups and casino groups. Individual bookings. I personally don't try and book for individual bookings for parties and stuff like that, just because I don't. That's not my market at the moment, and it's not where I'm particularly pushing, because I want people to come and see my show. I don't want them to come and see Bob's 50th birthday party where they booked a hypnotist, and it's harder for me to market to one individual booker. I like to try and book, or I like to spend my money marketing to someone that is going to book potentially 4, 5, 6, 10 shows a year. So it's worth the spend. Weirdly, on a slightly different, how you don't have to say the specifics, but you do Glastonbury, which is a world iconic festival. Was that through contacts, or was that through any particular type of marketing?
Direct. We
Awesome.
I know someone. I have a very good friend, Paul Nathan, who's been doing it for 15 years, and he had an extra ticket one year, and he invited me to come and see the festival at my own expense, but he gave me the ticket. And then I asked him if he cared if I solicited, marketed them. And he says, no, you do it. He's a magician and I do hypnosis. So I direct marketed them. We weren't invited back this year, by the way. They did not invite. Yeah, we submitted, but they did not invite us back this year. So I did it for 4 years. I've been there for 5.
Yeah, I think it's weirdly. I do a big festival in Scotland. It's like Scotland's version to Glastonbury. It's a very big one, and I've done that for the last 5 years. But this year I've not been invited back. I'm hearing that it is that kind of whole having people on stage and audience participation, but a lot of it is about. I mean, they like just they like what they like, but Glastonbury is such a great kind of booking to have as well.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, we lost money doing it. They paid us the equivalent of 1,900 US, 1,500 pounds, and it didn't even pay for our plane tickets, but we would hoard our frequent flyer points, use those, and then we would spend another $2,000 or $3,000 while we were there, eating out, taking transportation, Ubers, because we don't know our way around, and entertaining ourselves. So but it's a great way of marketing your show, marketing hypnosis, and enjoying the experience of being at Glastonbury. Like Belladrum, I take the weekend off for Belladrum. I only do one show there, but I take the weekend off, and I'm there all weekend promoting my show. I'm there all weekend just having a good time. And the money that they pay is not great, like you said, but you get to have that experience as well. And hopefully someone sees you there and it gets you all the bookings. So festival here can either pay really well or really poor. And ones that pay poor can be good marketing opportunities. The ones that pay well are fun. I mean, your
exactly
hospitality tents and such. I like festivals. But...
Oh, absolutely. I think it lends itself well to hypnosis because people are there with an open mind as well. Anyway, they're there with the idea of experiencing new things. So that is great. But I got a big theatre in Venice, Ironworks, a great venue, and that was on the back of the Belladrum booking. And so it's for me, it's always a case of always marketing the show. You guys do it brilliantly with the stuff that you do. Maybe not at Glastonbury, but with your kind of branding that you have at the back of the show and your whole stage setup. If someone's taking a photo of your show, your branding's there. People know that that's your show. I think when people
talking about the steampunk backdrop.
Yeah,
Okay. We're only using that at fairs. We're not doing that
Yeah.
everywhere.
So on
And
a normal show, a non-fair show, what kind of branding do you have in the background? Do you have stuff that does make it so that people watching that can then rebook you?
nah, no. I mean, I'm OCD about my sound, so I am dragging in a very large or a very
Yeah.
capable sound system. I'm very OCD about good sound, and we're
Yeah.
dragging in video equipment, which is just a camera. But we really don't have any banners. I found the majority of banners when I see other performers, they're just so narcissistic. So, you know, to me, it's not about me. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, I guess it looks okay behind a band, or just having a banner that has, let's say, your logo is fine. And
Yeah.
I do have a logo for Alan Sands Entertainment, but I don't have a logo for Misty and the Sandman. And, you know, I probably should make one up. Actually, I was just looking at some old, I found a box filled with videos from 2002 and 2003. And I'm now dubbing them onto DVD so that I can master them and get them into my hard drive. I can't get tape directly into my hard drive right now. So I have to make DVDs first and then put them into the hard drive. And I've been listening to my act and looking at the videos. And I do have this old red banner that I used to put up at fairs across the front of the stage. And I think it's time to get another large banner like that made, you know, for shows. But I'm not heavy into like putting your website on there and putting your phone number on there, because no one is going to stop and check your website. They're looking at you live, you know. You know, they're there in the moment.
I think, and you're spot on in what you said. Of course you are. You're spot on in what you said about a lot of banners are quite narcissistic. And I think the problem is I think a lot of people get the cheapest roll-up banners they can get, and they make that an advert. It's like a flyer for their business that goes on the side. And I think it takes away from the show. I mean, I have 3 banners that I use, which predominantly, one is a little bit of branding, it's a logo for me, but I use them to space out the back of the stage so that if I'm on a stage that is, to be honest, a bit shit looking, or if I'm in a venue where the backdrop looks terrible, I've got my big double width banner and then 2 smaller banners, which I believe makes the stage look a bit more of a stage. And the only kind of website bit on there is right at the bottom. So it's generally hidden behind the chair so people don't see the website. But if someone wanted to see the website, they could do. But then by the same rule, if somebody's taking a photo of the show, they get to see my massive logo in the background and see my name somewhere so that someone else watching it can go, oh, that's that hypnotist, and can then book them. So I think it's finding that happy balance of using your banner to dress your stage, plus push your branding out there so that people get to see that it's you, rather than, as we know, we can all look like the same hypnotist really on stage.
Yeah.
Right. We're interchangeable.
Yeah,
exactly.
I always wanted to have 3 banners. One was a watch, one was a time tunnel, one was an eye, and you know, have those up there behind us just telling the story, but never developed that. You know, at the end of the show, we are, you know, telling them to come up and get a business card. So that's our way of, you know, because the QR code has, they can order the video that we recorded. It's doesn't get a lot of results.
I for years had the tent cards that I used to put out on all the tables. I only do that now on like theatre shows, and a lot of that was a little bit about me. A few of those, you know, that whole "if you can read this, then it shows you've got a powerful mind." A couple of little stuff like that, and again, to try and ease some of those fears that you kind of can allay in the pre-talk. 1, build that expectation, but 2, you know, there's a bit of marketing on there as well. So if they want to download a free relaxation MP3, they can scan the QR code. I don't know if that's ever brought me any extra bookings. You know, I would like to think that it has, but no one has ever directly sent me a message saying, I've just got one of your tent cards now. And so that lowered itself on my list of kind of priorities of things to renew. Every now and then, if I'm doing like if I'm four walling, I'll get some done and put them out. But for a lot of standard shows, I don't. I should start doing that myself again, just to kind of see if it does anything.
Yeah, one thing that I once saw 25 years ago was somebody had a brochure when he was working a bar that he kind of put on every table that said, that introduced you to hypnosis and what to expect if you're in the show. And it was kind of like the pre-talk.
Yeah.
It really, if they read the thing, it really made the pre-talk much shorter for you, since they've already been told, that,
Exactly.
not this, it's not brainwashing. You're not going to do things against your
Exactly. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I might consider making up a card like that again. It could be.
It adds, well, for me, it kind of added a sense of almost like you go to the theatre, you can buy a show program. And to me, I thought it added on that. I had it printed on good quality cardstock as well, so it it sat up properly. It looked quite nice. And again, with all of this marketing stuff, if you're not very good at marketing or branding, then get a professional to do it, and that's what I did with these, and that paid off. So someone just put a comment in the chat about if I could post a picture of it. I'll post it in the Performing Hypnosis group when I get back to office. But yeah, I think any little extra thing we can do just elevates it. And again, I think that comes with like your back of the room branding. Robert Temple's just done some stuff for his theatre show here in the UK. And again, it's just the usual, quit smoking, lose weight, confidence stuff. But he's branded them all together that they just look like a quality product straight off the bat. And I don't even know if it's an MP3 download, if it's a CD. It could be a reel-to-reel tape. I don't know. You can't tell from the packaging, but it just looks good. And I think that's one of the things that makes a difference. I think a lot of us stage guys can suffer from just getting stuff done rather than getting it done professionally, and suffer from the back of that. So, when I see like word art, which you don't see that often, but there was a really, and it's a great stage hypnotist, one of the first guys that I saw that kind of got me into this. His back of room, he used to have flyers that he used to just put on the tables of all the different CDs that he had for his therapy stuff that you could buy afterwards. But that literally was, word art with the 3D word art on it. And you look at it and you're like, that was just, horrific. But of the time was great. But now, 20 years later, maybe get a graphic designer to have a look at that, or do something on Canva at least.
Yeah, the more we do, the better, and if we do it all, we're brilliant. It's amazing.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think the problem we have, or the problem I used to have as well, is when it comes to marketing, there's so much stuff we need to be doing. And if you listen to any of the experts online, you need to be posting 5 items a day, 3 TikToks, 2 Instagram reels, a YouTube short, plus your own Facebook, plus a blog, plus Pinterest, plus marketing. There's all of this stuff you do, and it becomes overwhelming. I think, do 2 things and keep pushing them until they kind of get them right, and then add to that. And then drop something that's not working and then add to that. Don't try and do everything, because then we end up kind of starting with this best intention of overworking, and then we just stop after 2 or 3 weeks when we don't get the results. If we're prospecting on the phone bookers, which I've not done in a long time, but if you're prospecting on the phone for a new booker, we aggressively ring 2 or 3 people, get a couple of rejections, and then kind of go, oh, do you know what? I'm not going to do that. Or I'll send out 100 emails and you get 1 response. You think, oh, it's not worth doing that. So I think consistency is key with everything that we do. But if we can keep that consistency in not just the activity of pushing out there, but the quality of the branding that we put as well, which I suffer from, and I should listen to my own advice on that I post stuff that is not on brand all the time. Like on my own social media, I posted one this morning because it was Monday motivation, on a bright yellow background. And most of my marketing is all purple. So why I put out a bright yellow post, I have no idea. I should have branded that to my own stuff. It would have took me an extra 2 minutes to put a purple banner across the bottom with a logo or something just to tie it back to me, but I didn't. Laziness took over, and I was more concerned with just getting a post out with it being Monday rather than branding it back. So I think, we've got to try and brand our stuff and market it as being us as much as we can. Yeah. Oh, I've lost you for a second there. Oh,
I was
Yeah.
muted. Anyway, yeah,
Ah,
it can. I mean, branding can help. I don't think it's the end all. It depends on what market you're going after.
Yeah.
Consistency, yes. Jim pushing the Pacific, that conference that we were invited to, the reason why we're here. He was amazing at it. I read 1 out of 10, maybe 1 out of 20 posts, but I saw them. He kept reminding us that it was there. And same thing with the Pacific Northwest Convention. Did you go?
I didn't know. I really wanted to try and get over, but it was just I have too many commitments here, which is a shame because Jim's like, he's one of my best, if you know what I mean. And I wanted to be there for the first one, but he's like, dude, he says if you can't, it's okay. So I'm like, all right, well, that's quite good.
Right.
I think it's interesting because, especially in what we do stage wise, it does tend to fall into 2 categories. We can be too spammy and pushing the stuff out there too much, or just not enough. We'll put one post out there and go, oh, I don't want to be spammy, so I'm not going to do that. And I think it's important where we post that stuff. Like when I see people posting like basically hypnosis advert in hypnosis groups, I do kind of think that's a bit of a waste of energy because you're trying to sell your hypnosis services to hypnotists. They don't book it. No one in the expert stage hypnosis performers group is booking my show.
Yeah, there's a bleached blonde magician that from England who's been spamming like 2 or 3 of the
Fraser.
hypnosis. Yeah. And it's like, why?
He's not bleach blonde, honey. He's albino.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is he spamming his routines, as though he's doing marketing? It just seemed, out of, I actually made a comment regarding it. What's that?
Yeah.
What'd you say, Lisa?
Come to boot camp.
It's a message market misalignment there.
Yeah.
Message market mismatch. Yes.
Yeah, message market mismatch. Yeah, you're not sending the ad may be fine, but you're not sending it to people who give a crap.
Right.
Yeah. And that's it. We've got to be advertising to people that want to see the adverts. Otherwise,
doing that on
it
LinkedIn would be smart. Doing that even as your Facebook. What are the the short ones? The last 24 hours. Doing
stories.
Would be smart because then everyone sees it who has ever friended you. But hypnosis sites, I'm not.
They're not. No, and it's like the sale groups that you get for local towns here in the UK. Each local town's got its own buy and swaps thing. That it's just spammed with people trying to offload just tap that they no longer need. It's just people are blind to it. They're not. That's not sophisticated marketing. Like you said there, Facebook stories, Instagram stories. I made a commitment to myself that every day I would post at least 1 story, just because it's there. For some people that will annoy them, but then they don't have to look at it. But it's only there for 24 hours and then it disappears. The good thing with that as well is you get to see who has seen that post as well on Instagram. So you get to know whether someone that was, that booked your show for something 2 years ago has seen your post. So do you know what? Time for me to pop over to their Facebook, like a couple of their posts on Facebook, and then drop a couple of comments on there. All of a sudden it feels like to them, oh yeah, Grant, we should book him for something else again.
So do you post on Instagram separate from your Facebook, or do they talk to each other?
They kind of talk to each other, but I have Instagram stories separate to my Facebook page. But then if I post a picture or post a post onto Instagram, I have that post onto my Facebook business page as well. But then I now try and post on Instagram page like I would post on my Facebook business page. So I don't want it too hashtag heavy. I'm literally 3 or 4 hashtags now. Whereas if I see a post that's got like 8, 9, 10, 12 hashtags, I don't like it, especially on Facebook. Facebook doesn't like lots of hashtags. So yeah. But yeah, so if I post a story on Instagram, that's not appearing on Facebook. But then if I see someone I know, like a booker or someone that's previously booked or an agent has seen that post, I'll then go over to their Facebook, their personal Facebook, and just drop a couple of likes on some of their stuff, and then maybe drop a comment. How's Janice doing? How's the dog? You know, and for me, I always like to, you know, whether you got any like kind of contact software or CRM software, but you know, I know the names of the dogs of all my agents, the cats of all my agents, the kids of all my agents, just so I can go, oh, how's Betty?
Yeah,
How's the dog?
those agents
How's
have
the
been
cat?
letting me know that they want you to stop buying them dogs and cats.
yeah, yeah. A dog and a cat is not just for an agent; it's for Christmas. But those little things I found work really well for maintaining those relationships. Because I mean, you'll be the same. You've been in this industry for a long time. You know, you'll have bookers that you've worked with for a long time, and over that period of 5, 10, 15 years, that's tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars you've got from maintaining those relationships. That's what I want to do. Is I don't want to find one booker and sell one show. I try and market my show in a way that I'm marketing it to one person that can be selling or buying that show for the next 10 years. So yeah, it means in the long run less work. It's just a case of maintaining those relationships once you've got them. And I'll even do that with bad shows. I have done shows where I have died on my ass, but they're still getting a card at Christmas. Because at some point they'll forget about how bad that show was and just remember what a nice guy Grant is. And they'll go, do you know what? We'll give them another try.
You hope.
Yes, yes. And it's especially in the digital world, that Christmas card, that Thanksgiving card, you know, I still think makes a massive difference.
No, you're right. I get about 4 Christmas cards now, and that's it. So I'm aware of the Christmas cards I get.
Yeah. And it's such a soft sell done right. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, if you send in a Christmas card that is like, book me for your next show, I think it's insincere. But a genuine handwritten Christmas card just works perfectly.
Yeah. No, it's a good hope.
I pay a local girl. She does like arts and crafts. Literally, she makes me the cards that I send out to the agents with hypnosis in mind, with my branding in mind, but it's not an advert. It's just, you know, last year it was a snow globe, and inside that snow globe was lots of little spirals, but it was a moving card. So you shook the card and the snow globe would move. It was a nice little touch. But when they receive it, they know it's a handcrafted card. There's a tangible value to it rather than, you know, a pack of 100 cards. But like 25 good bookers got those particular cards, and so I think effort really just pay off.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. My cruise, my cruise agent, I made sure that the card for them was just for them, and their logo was incorporated into the card. Again, just, you know, it cost me an extra 50 cents or whatever it was for her to do that. But when you consider what that's worth in the long run, it's worth 50 cents.
Nice.
Yeah. I always try and find something different and gimmicky, because we've got to try and be memorable. Yeah. I used to know a guy, and it was great. He used to send his details on a screwed up piece of paper inside the envelope. And so it made the envelope look a bit funny because the paper was screwed up. And then when you unraveled what was screwed up on the paper, it was like, book me to your next show. The only thing I'll screw up is this piece of paper. And he used to swear by the amount of returns he would get from that. Again, getting something like that for me is memorable. It would make me smile. Yeah.
There's a clown that he uses crackers in his act over and over again. You know, if he has a stuffed dog and the stuffed dog does a trick and he gives it a cracker, and then he has volunteers come on stage and he gives them a cracker. And he sent me his promo in a cracker box way back originally when he first introduced himself to me. And that's TC Hatter, Lisa.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's brilliant. Yeah. But that's consistency of your branding all the way through.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't open that box. The box of crackers came. I threw it in with all the promo. It sat there for a year before I opened it, but then I finally opened it. And he, we had a long relationship. In fact, he's still involved in fairs because I introduced him to fairs. He was doing comedy clubs previously, but those have died here. I don't know about in England.
Do you know what? Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've got, Manchester used to have the Frog and Bucket, which was pretty much a full-time comedy club. It's Friday, maybe a Saturday night now. Comedy clubs have really died here in the UK. But a lot of the people that were at the comedy club are now four-walling their own little shows at like little village halls and town halls now. So there's a lot more comedy nights going on, but it's the comedians themselves that are working as a collective and four-walling individual venues and selling tickets. So in that sense, it's better for them. I don't know if it's better for the comedy.
Yeah, but you lose a lot of good comics that don't know how to create the marketing machine. Terry Stokes.
Absolutely.
Terry Stokes is a great example of he was just so phenomenal. I could watch his show over and over and over again, the same show, and I am the most jaded human being I mean, there are a few entertainers that I can watch over and over again, and he was one of them that I could and did, but he couldn't do his own marketing. He was just at a total loss. He had an amazing manager because he was so talented, and his Bob got him known, made him a household name amongst fairs. And he continued to do those fairs for up to 30 years in some cases. 15 was not uncommon. And anyway.
Do you know what? Great point there, though. For some people that aren't great at marketing, that aren't great at some of the other elements of running a stage hypnosis business, if you believe in yourself, but you're not good at those things, then hire somebody. With virtual assistants now cheaper than they've ever been, bearing in mind the art of finding a good virtual assistant that does the job as you want it to be done is a skill in itself. You almost need an assistant to get yourself a virtual assistant. Oh, listen, I have been stung 5 times. It's just, that in itself is. I could tell you, we could do a show just on that with there. But if you get someone that knows what they're doing, they do that work for you. And so again, like graphic design, I'm not a good graphic designer, especially when it comes to my own stuff. So I'll always pay someone to do it. Don't get me wrong, I could use Canva, I could use Fiverr, but I get a belief in my stuff knowing that a proper graphic designer has done that.
I agree.
Yeah, it's the problem with the Fiverr stuff for me, and it's great for people just starting out, is, but if I want a logo making, I want that logo to be specific to me. I don't want it to be specific to 100 or 1,000 other people across the world. I might not see anybody else that's doing it, but I know 2 really kind of well-established hypnosis organizations that ended up with almost identical logos because of them going to Fiverr for it. And it's like, you know what? for the money that you saved in the beginning, in the long term, that's going to cost you. And so, yeah. Fraser, we mentioned Fraser earlier, the way that he's kind of, he's branding himself. But I know his mum's in marketing. She does a great job of pushing him out there, getting him on podcasts and doing certain stuff. So, yeah, it's finding out what your strengths and weaknesses are and working with them. If you are just a performer and you're a great performer, then find someone that can look after the other side of the business for you.
Hard to find.
Oh, yeah. And if you find a good one, marry them.
Scott's already married.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the great things I'm seeing with stage hypnosis at the moment as well is the collaboration. It's like for me, it feels like people are actually working together more now than what they ever have been. Whether that's a COVID thing or what, I don't know. But I think that's a good thing, because we have all got to try and do better for the industry. And there's some great guys, yourself included, that are doing phenomenal stuff. And so, yeah, it's all trying to learn from each other, really.
Yeah, well, you
Cool.
guys have actually done a lot of that, making us all cooperative. And Sanders, these little conventions that are now created in the last 10 years.
Sandland.
Yeah.
Sandling.
Sandland.
Him too. Anyway.
Yeah. No, but absolutely. On that note as well, I spoke to Lisa earlier. It'd be great to get you guys onto we do like a hypno news thing. It's only a small thing, but we talk about conferences and trainings. So I'd love to get you come on for like 5 minutes to talk about your boot camp.
Sure. We'd love to.
Cool.
It would be lovely.
Cool. That's exactly perfect. Right, yeah, I think that is it for this month. Jim will be back next month, bless him. Probably after having had a bit of a meltdown and some relaxation after the conference this weekend, which looked like it was a really great success as well. I was pleased for him.
I've never seen Scott King this quiet this long. It's been
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
he's
there's been a
usually the
quiet
one
bunch
running
tonight.
the other one that Lisa sits in on. So he's the host that keeps it going.
I'm learning in this one. Lots of information.
I have all my tools set up in the driveway and I'm making sawdust. So I got to go protect my tools from
I saw
wandering
that.
neighbors.
I was like, you're doing that. That looks awesome. What you're making in there.
Yeah,
Oh,
building
Here's
a
much
cabinet.
woodworking's out. I
This
think
one
that
is a
sounds nice.
Lisa cabinet. This one's specifically for her
Lisa
pantry
cabinet.
in the van.
That kind of like Airbnb for storage, a Lisa cabinet.
Yeah, there's
Awesome.
something in there. Anyway.
Could be my pantry in the van, so we have food not all over the floor.
Yeah, right now we have this huge basket that just holds all the food, and I'm making her 6 drawers that she can keep the food into and organize it a little more. So
Awesome.
anyway.
I must admit, I love the idea of van life. So yeah, it looks really cool. So good luck with that as a project as well.
It's a hobby. It really is.
Yeah.
It's I mean, we do use it because we have it.
Yeah.
We could have an RV and it would serve our purpose a whole lot. But this van can tow our steampunk trailer. So that's why we acquired it originally. And it's been fun. It's still cheaper. No matter how you look at it, it's still cheaper to do it yourself than buy an RV. So
yeah, and there's a bit of once you put a bit of you into something and building it yourself, then that makes it special.
Yeah, true that.
Cool. Right, I shall let you get back to your woodcraft, and thank you for joining us, guys. Take care. I'll post a link to that tent card in the Facebook group, and I'll see everybody next month. Any questions or anything, drop it in the group, and yeah, we'll see what we can do. And take care, guys.
Bye-bye.